First at 4, boosting the face mask mandate. The state of Michigan expanding requirements for smaller children. Plus, Paula is tracking more changes for school.
Yeah, Karen, it is a school schedule scramble once again as districts try to figure out how to handle this surge and best educate children, what the state's largest district decided to do just last night.
Also, first at 4, mass shooting in the Midwest. What we've learned about the gunman and police describe what was happening as he pulled the trigger. You're watching First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. Let's start with breaking news as we are monitoring a shots fired situation at the Briarwood Mall. That's over in Ann Arbor. Right now, we do not know if anyone has been hit. We also don't know exactly where the shots may have been fired. Ann Arbor police say the mall is not on lockdown, but they are asking people to avoid the area. Working the story, we'll bring you updates on Local 4 and clickondetroit.com as we learn more. Right now, this is a report of shots fired at Briarwood Mall. No victims as of right now. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Karen Drew. We do have breaking news. Also, a state representative formally charged in connection to a crash on I-96 in Livingston County last week. Inkster lawmaker Jewel Jones was arraigned virtually this afternoon on several charges, including resisting and obstructing police, reckless driving, and drunk driving. This stems from his arrest April 6th after the crash near Fowlerville. Prosecutors say Jones had blood alcohol content more than twice the legal limit. Bond is set at $15,000. Jones represents the 11th district. He's serving his third term in the Michigan House. Well, now the coronavirus crisis. While Governor Whitmer is not imposing any new shutdowns, the state is extending current restrictions, also expanding the state's face mask mandate. So let's start with that face mask information. The Department of Health now requiring children ages 2 to 4 years old to wear masks while at public gatherings like child care facilities or camps. The new requirement goes into effect April 26th. The Director of Health and Human Services says Michigan continues to implement smart COVID mitigation measures. The state is also continuing current restrictions on gatherings, restaurants, and entertainment venues through at least May 24th. Indoor dining capacity is limited to 50% or 100 people with certain restrictions. Only 15 people are allowed at indoor gatherings, and face masks should be worn unless eating or drinking. You can find a list of all the current limitations at clickondetroit.com. Also today, state reporting nearly 9,000 new cases of the virus today. That is a big jump from Thursday, along with 40 additional deaths. Now, we've been talking about how Michigan's hospitals are reaching the breaking point during this new surge. Today, the Michigan Nurses Association is pleading with all of us to help ease that strain. They released a statement saying, in part, nurses are exhausted. Many hospitals are close to 100% capacity. RNs around the state are being put in the impossible situation of having to decide which patient to attend to. And nurses are working up to 18 hours at a time, often without breaks. We are begging for everyone in the community to do their part, stay home, wear a mask, get a vaccine when you are able. Michigan schools also caught in the middle of the surge. The governor asking them to pause in-person learning. Detroit's public schools had a special board meeting last night and have pushed pause again. Paula Tutman this afternoon joins us with the latest. And Paula, I imagine a lot of school districts are really taking a look at the numbers that are coming in and deciding whether or not they should bring their kids back to school or not.
Yeah, that's true. But this one is a bellwether. It's a barometer because this is a school district where the leadership truly understands that school is more than just school. And this particular leadership has jumped through hoops and done everything it can to keep students in some sort of face-to-face capacity. And when they decide to pull students in, then you know this is big. Today, 8th grader Latrell is back in remote learning while his mother prepares for yet another sad fact of her family's life.
I'm actually about to attend a homegoing service today for our principal's father. So it's a lot to deal with, to know that this deadly virus is just taking control over our whole nation.
For the path many Michigan families are walking today, trauma is a regular stop along the way. And that is why Melissa is thankful that the Detroit Public Schools Community District has pushed an extended pause for in-person learning.
We are the highest in the nation right now, and every day we have more and more cases that are going higher and higher. So I'm concerned about the safety of our children as well as the staff.
But it is a double-edged sword because Latrell does not do great with remote learning.
He's more of a visual person, seeing the teacher do the work face to face. It helps him a little bit better versus the way they do it on remote learning. And I believe that's because that's what he's accustomed to.
Last night at a specially called board meeting for DPSCD, the decision was made that with less than 8 weeks left in the regular school year, face-to-face learning pauses until at least May, and then there will be a reevaluation. Though the learning centers will reopen April 26th in an effort to support parents who simply can't afford to stay home with their children, something that Melissa disagrees with.
Have childcare, so are we basically worried about that, or are we worried about education? Because they still won't have a teacher there teaching them. They just will have a parapro there monitoring them. So I still feel that the learning center should stay closed as well because the numbers are too high.
But with a community spread so high, once again, this district of nearly 50,000 children continues to dance on a slender tightrope on a windy day. Yeah, you know, we keep hearing that we're all in this together, but one good visual show that we're definitely playing on different teams is when you look at school districts, because parents want one thing, administrators want something else, and school boards want something else still. And we'll take a look at the kind of those odds coming up at 5:30, Karen.
All right, look forward to that. Paula Tutman live this afternoon. Some former Michigan lawmakers are fighting this afternoon against the state's term limits with a new appeal. The group argues preventing people from running again based only on their experience in state government is unconstitutional. But a judge in Michigan's Western District upheld the law earlier this year. The plaintiffs argue the pandemic illustrates that having lawmakers learning on the job can be counterproductive. They're taking their case to the U.S. Court of Appeals in Cincinnati. All right, let's talk about your first forecast. We've certainly seen a little bit of everything this week. Andrew Humphrey in for Ben. What's in store for the weekend?
Well, Karen, wonderful to see you this afternoon. We're looking at chilly conditions right now, but some higher temperatures for our weekend, which is some good news. Let's talk about the numbers right now. 43, a little bit chillier, closer to Lake Huron, in Port Huron itself. 41 in Sandusky. Elsewhere, closer to 50 degrees with some late afternoon sunshine breaking out. That allows temperatures to make it to the mid-50s. Jackson's at 54, while it's 56 over in Adrian. Looking lovely as we look at downtown Detroit. Still need a jacket before heading out in order to stay warm. A knit hat, that will go a long way as well. And as always, mask up. We're looking at 51 degrees currently. Pretty breezy out there. Wind gusts up to around 17 miles per hour, but we've seen higher winds over the past season so far. You can see higher temperatures to our west. Milwaukee's at 44, but it's 55 over in Chicago. 56 a little bit closer in Coldwater. So as we go through this evening, it continues to be chilly, but dry. Partly to mostly cloudy with temps in the mid-40s by midnight. We'll talk about overnight lows and then those higher temperatures for this weekend, Karen, in minutes.
Well, the images are too familiar, and so is the heartbreak. Police have just released more information on the identity of the gunman in the country's latest mass shooting. They say a 19-year-old man shot and killed 8 people at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis overnight. Kimberly Gill joins us from the newsroom with the very latest on the case. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Investigators have not released information on a motive, but 2 law enforcement sources tell the Associated Press the shooter is 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hull of Indiana, and FedEx has identified him as a former employee at that facility. Police say the shooter first opened fire with a rifle in the parking lot of the FedEx near the Indianapolis airport at around 11 last night. Then he went inside the building and continued firing. 4 people were killed outside the facility and 4 killed inside. 5 others were taken to the hospital. The CEO says all of the 8 people killed were company employees. The shooter took his own life before police entered the building. Police are searching his home but haven't released very much about him or why he may have opened fire.
There was no confrontation with anyone that was there. There was no disturbance. There was no argument. He just appeared to randomly start shooting.
I see a man. A hooded figure. I was unable to see his face in detail. However, the man did have an AR in his hand, and he started shouting, and then he started firing at random directions.
Police have set up an area at a nearby hotel for families to reunite with workers. It is an emotional scene because many people are having a difficult time getting in touch with their loved ones. A FedEx policy prohibits workers from carrying their cell phones during their work shift. FedEx did issue a statement saying safety is a top priority and that they are fully cooperating with investigators. According to a CNN tally, this is the country's 45th mass shooting in the last month. We will bring you any new information tonight at 5. Karen, until then, we'll send it back to you.
So disturbing. All right. Thank you, Ken. Still head first at 4. Will he or won't he be back on Facebook? We'll tell you where things stand right now on former President Trump's social media suspension. Also, a royal farewell, what you can expect to see at Prince Philip's funeral. And we'll talk about NBC's live coverage as well. Plus, a messy mix leads to canceled classes. We're tracking spring snow in a few different spots, and the threat of snow continues in our 7-day forecast. Stay with us. You're watching First at 4.